Hi. I like the smaller crowd. Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for the invite and opportunity to share my experience and life story with you. My name is Veronica Puentes. I am married. I have 7 children. I am a grandmother of 4. I am an assembly technician at New Flyer of America. I am a steward, elected member of the executive board, and member of the Communication Workers of America 7304. I am a board member of Aluma. I am a member of the Freedom Church, but most importantly, I am a child of God. I have been a resident of Crookston, Minnesota for 10 years, employed at New Flyer for 12 years. I am dedicated and committed to my relationship with Christ, my family, and this community. Also my friends. My life hasn't always been easy. My parents were migrant workers, and I traveled between Texas and Minnesota. My parents separated when I was 10 years old, devastating my younger siblings and I. What once was a home full of love, care, and structure was now broken. As an adult, I now understand my mother did the best with what she knew how. My mother was broken, and so were we. My mother, a single mother, tried to find comfort in men, drugs, and whatever else could fill the temporary void. I had to grow up fast, taking care of my 3 sisters, trying to survive, but it was hard. When my mother would leave for days at a time, leaving me to feed and care for my sisters at a very young age. We even ended up in foster care a couple times. With me being the oldest, my mother raised me to be tough. If I needed to get physical with anyone for any reason, then so be it, because that was my normal. I was angry and I was hurt, which led me to look for love in all the wrong places and people. At the age of 12, I was already sexually active. I got pregnant at 13, and there's my first child right there. I had my child at 14. In my 8th grade year, 1996, I was asked not to attend the Crystal City High School in Crystal City, Texas, because they felt that I would be setting a bad example on the other students. Not only was I 13 and pregnant, but I wasn't even allowed to pursue my education, and that broke me. At 15, I started doing drugs. And at 16, I was already having my 2nd child. While my 2 children were being raised by their grandparents, I was more of a sister to my own children because I was a child myself. The father of my kids was a drug dealer, and it made it easy to live the lifestyle of partying, drugs, and being irresponsible, which led him to eventually be incarcerated. I then decided to leave the relationship. This was the year of 1999. I met my ex-husband and had 2 more children with him. Between the years of 1999 and 2003, I struggled with addiction. And all my ex-husband wanted was nothing more than to have a happy family and be loved. But I was all about the drugs. I was addicted to cocaine, and cocaine became my priority. In the year of 2002, I will never forget. I was in the restroom getting ready to smoke my drugs. There was a knock at the door, as there often was. I yelled, "What?" "Mom, I have to go to the restroom." "Geez, hurry up." I open the door. My child says, "It's so smoky in here." I get back into the restroom, pull out the drugs from underneath the bathroom sink. Something hit me inside. I turned the fan on, ran the shower water, and dropped to my knees. I looked up and said, "God, if you are real, if you truly exist, then help me. Please help me." Tears rolling down my face, I felt so hopeless. I then thought What are you doing? Get up. And who are you talking to? Little did I know my life was about to change. Acts 2:21 says, and everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. If I tell you my whole life story, I could write a book. In the year of 2007, I gave birth to my 5th child with another man. And that was one of the main causes of my divorce. Now, in that relationship, it was very unhealthy, mentally and physically. I continued to do drugs, which led me down a destructive path. Ultimately, in 2009, I ended up having to serve 2 years at the Minnesota Correctional Facility. And now I will share a poem with you that I wrote while incarcerated. This was dated 7/15/2009. Life has been a roller coaster ride. Ups and downs, having all those thoughts with too much pride. At the age of 13, I grew a child within, a baby being developed with no knowledge of sin. 16 years of age, a mother of 2. Much too young, I want to have fun, but dang, what do I do? Caught up in a world with sex and drugs. I ain't ready to change. I'm a thug. Take a drink, pass the pipe, or take a line. I ain't got nothing to worry about. It's not like it's a crime. Age 23, a mother of 4, I lost my husband and became a whore. Life seems pointless and I don't give a damn. Got warrants? I don't care. Catch me if you can. I want to be good, but things just don't seem to go right. There's got to be more to this life. I'm tired of trying to win this fight. I'm at a war from good to bad. Gave myself again to a man, and oh, how he made me sad. I give and I take, I give and I take. I can no longer live with the mask. I'm tired of being fake. Nighttime falls and I hear their cries. I'm sick of this life. I've had enough goodbyes. 2007, now a mother of 5. 2008, now I've lost my mind. I don't care, just keep going, just drive. Take me away where I can forget. I want to get lost, my mind is set. Caught up in a world that Satan rules. What happened, Vero? I thought you'd never be a fool. Block it out, pass the drink, and oh yeah, now I'm cool. Locked behind walls, now my freedom is gone. It's time to think, how in the hell did you go wrong? I can't help but sing that sad, sad song. Lord, give me strength to carry on, for this road I'm on seems endless and long. During the time at the correctional facility, I made a promise to God. I made a promise to God and myself to turn my life around. I was hungry for change. I enrolled in programs to build a deeper relationship with Christ and to build the social and technical skills required to earn a living for myself and my family. Programs like Thinking of a Change, Purpose-Driven Life, IFI Christian Reentry Program, CIP Boot Camp. 2 years away from my children, I had 5 children residing with their grandparents and fathers in 3 different places. I was determined to make a difference. I had finally forgiven me and understood I am no longer my mistakes. I would not change a thing about my past, because my past is what has shaped and molded me into the woman I am today. In 13 years, I gave birth to 5 beautiful children by 3 different men. I experienced love in different ways. I met a lot of people along my journey and lived a life of many mistakes. I was an addict, a mother who abandoned her children. I had abortions. I was in abusive relationships, and I hurt others because I was hurt. However, without those life experiences, how could I ever help someone today? I am thankful for my past. Today, my mother serves the Lord and has been sober from drugs since 2005. And I have been sober from drugs since May of 2009. And now I will read another poem I wrote so it can tell and show how my thoughts changed a year after being incarcerated. Who is this woman I do not know? She looks familiar, tall, dark hair, and brown eyes. Why, she has a glow as bright as the morning sun. So very confident in her eyes, she is number one. She smiles with joy, and her laughter radiates her surroundings. She stands tall with her head held high. She is an eagle that has reached the top of a mountain. Looking left to right, she stands firm in her values, protecting her values like a mother who protects her child from danger. She is a warrior ready to fight for her recovery. She is ready to fight for the trust of her children. She is ready to give what was once lost, love. Inside, she screams with ecstasy, I am free. I am finally free. She has taken the leap of faith, believing she can do anything she sets her mind to. She has conquered challenges with a smile. She now knows she has it in her to go the extra mile. She will hold your hand, and without saying a word, you will know she is distinctive, not like any other. She is beautiful to the eye, and her heart gives warmth to the soul. Warm and smooth like a cup of hot cocoa on a cold winter's night. She works diligently, and she is competitive and ready to win. The truth of the matter is, she is a woman of God. Her hope is in him, and he leads her to the path of righteousness, leading her to the direction she is inclined to go. She trusts him to reveal what she needs to understand, and so, believing in him no matter what direction she goes, he will show her favor. Who is this woman? I know. Her name is Veronica Rose. Upon release in 2011, I struggled to get housing and a good paying job, but I did not give up. No matter how many applications were denied, I kept pressing towards my goals. With the help of God, I was able to get an apartment, a job at New Flyer. My plans were to reside in Minnesota, only for a year. However, the good Lord had another plan for me. 3 of my children took the risk and gave me a chance to be a mother. I started my relationship in 2012 with Adrian Puentes, and eventually we got married and bought a home. I built healthy relationships, and friends became more like family. I attended an awesome church. I got more involved with my union in 2019, which led me to have opportunities of an amazing growth. I've been mobilizing and traveled to St. Cloud, Minnesota, Anniston, Alabama. I attended a leadership class in Iowa. I personally met the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. I was part of a live Zoom for MSNBC with Simone Sanders in regards to meeting the Vice President. And on September 20th of this year, I was the final pick from several candidates to testify before the Senate of Washington, D.C., giving my testimony before powerful leaders in America. I give all the praise and glory to God. God has transformed my life. No matter where I go or what I do, I will forever make it known to the world that I was once lost, but now I'm found. People can change. Never give up hope. If you fall down 9 times, get up 10. Make a difference by standing up for what you believe in. I continue to be a work in progress. I continue to learn, and I continue to grow, giving back and sharing that there is hope. Life is not over. Every day is a new day. Keep pressing towards the goals. Never stop caring, because caring goes a very long way. Today, and God permitting my tomorrow, I want nothing more than to be a light to others. For my Father said, "Go into the world and preach the gospel to all creation." And I am determined to do just that. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions for Veronica?
I think, can I say something?
Sure.
Before I end, I want to thank each and every one of you for what you do here at Social Services. When I was incarcerated and looked up jobs, what we could do for careers, human resources is a big thing, not only in this community, but all over the world. Because you have to have a caring heart, in order to make a difference in other people's lives. And even though everybody has a story, everyone does. It may not be my story, but you all have a story. Everybody's grown up a certain way, been hurt, and you can share that with other people. And that's exactly what I know I needed and I wanted. I wanted to have somebody say, I know how you feel, or I also went through that. And I can help you, because when somebody goes and applies for a job, a lot of the time they want somebody who's been experienced, right? Whether it's a year or 2 years. And in the same way, in the same field, whether you've worked with somebody or you've went through something yourself, sharing that with somebody is very impactful. And that's why I want to say thank you for what you do, because even though some people may think it's not a big deal, it is a big deal. What you do is a big deal, because you're doing the best that you can to help other people better their lives and give them what they need to be better, not only in this community, but in the world. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Okay, well, we can, Deb, are we ready for lunch? Almost? Okay. 2 minutes, okay. So yeah, if we don't have any questions for Veronica, we can go ahead and get, oh, you have a question, Catherine?
Could you say a little bit more about what brought you to meeting Vice President, or what was the commission or the...
Oh, yes. So because I work for New Flyer and I'm very involved in our union, because of electrical buses that they're building and the fundings that they had, she wanted to come see personally what we actually do. So I was asked, I thought I was just going to hear her speak, to be honest. I thought I was just going to hear, you know, what she had to say. But then I ended up finding out, like, hey, we have to rehearse. And I'm like, rehearse for what? And they're like, well, you're going to be one of the 7 who's going to personally introduce yourself and talk to Camilla about what you do. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, wow. And to be honest, you guys, I'm not ever going to try to lie to you. They handed me a script and said, you know, can you, and I looked at it and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, this is not me. I will not ever pose to be somebody that I'm not, and that's not the way that I would introduce myself. That's not what I would say. Okay, Veronica, can you show me what you would say? And I'm like, sure. So I kind of just went off and said who I was and introduced myself and how long I've been at the company and what I do for the company. And then they were like, you know what, that's great, which helped, because the other 2 girls were like, hey, I want to do the same thing, as I want to do what she's doing. And so, yeah, it was nice. I'm not into politics, you guys, so I don't want to, I didn't even, you know, another honest thing, this may be a little embarrassing, but when I got the phone call, I'm with my daughter, and they told me that they were going to cancel our meeting because Kamala Harris was coming. And I said, okay, so who's that? And my daughter says, my daughter's a sophomore, and she says, Mom, that's the Vice President of the United States. And I'm like, oh, the woman, okay, great, right? Like, that's cool, okay? They're like, would you like to join? And I'm like, sure, why not, you know? So I get there, and it was an honor. It was an honor to know that, I mean, she was very easy to talk to. We talked for a couple minutes just in what I do, and she thanked me for what I do at my job. And yeah, it was a really great experience. I mean, to see Secret Service and how it all goes into play and gets ready, it was awesome. Yeah, so I'm really thankful for the experience. And then getting a phone call and saying, hey, MSNBC would like to talk to you. And I just thought we were just going to have a conversation, not realizing it was live television. So kind of some things just kind of came out of the loop. But yeah, it's been great. I mean, my union has really helped me grow and learn a lot of things and be part of things. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Anything else?
I'm just wondering, so you had talked a little bit about that, you know, you're thankful that you're able to have, you know, relationships with your children.
Yes.
Are you willing to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
About what the struggles were to build those?
Oh, yes. So I told you I have 7 children, 2 through my marriage and 5 that I've birthed. In my story, you'll hear that I explain 3 of my children gave me a chance to be a mother. Now, my oldest daughter is 27, my son is 25, and my son Isaac, who resides in San Antonio, Texas, is 22, and my daughter Liana is 19. and my youngest Destiny is 16. Now my two that I have in San Antonio, we don't have much of a relationship. They are hurt. When I tell you I had 5 children in 3 different places, they were with their grandparents in San Antonio, Texas. Isaac was 5 and Lily was 3. So being raised by them, it's kind of what they've known. So me being out in the streets and doing what I was doing, you know, I'd make a phone call every now and then to see how they were doing. But when I actually went to prison and got out, now we're 2011 and some years have passed, right? And my kids are still a little fairly young. And I asked their father if he would please give me the chance to raise my children. And he said, "You've hurt these kids so much that no." And I was like, "Would you please move here? Because Minnesota says I cannot leave because I'm on parole." And he said no. He said, "I'm sorry, these are the choices that you've made and this is what's led you to where you are. So whenever you can have a chance, whenever you can or whatever, like your kids will be here. You can visit them, but you cannot take them." And so he had already did his custody deal through court in San Antonio. So I had visitation rights and that was about it. However, my daughter and my son, their grandparents were wonderful. They encouraged my kids that even though I made mistakes, that even though I wasn't there, that I was young. I was young and I became a mother young, and that I went through some things, and that it was important for them to always remember that I was their mother and to give me a chance. And if I failed, that they would always be there to back them up, but that regardless at the end of the day that I was their mother. So that means a lot to me that their grandparents encouraged them to come, and they did. They came and spent months with me. However, my oldest daughter did choose to graduate in Crystal City, Texas. Once she was done, she came down and she started to work to get any of the extra that she needed. But it was a challenge. My daughter, she went through a lot of depression herself. I wasn't there for her in her teens, like every girl. You know, when you need your mom, you go through the things of, you know, what girls do and breakups, and I wasn't there for her, and I know that was hurtful for her to go through. And I share the most beautiful moments with my oldest daughter because randomly she will message me and say, "Mom, I am so proud of you. Like, I used to be so upset with you and I didn't understand why you put us what you put us through," she says, "but God was able to do what he did in separating us but bringing us together, and look how beautiful it is now. Like, I'm able to share that with you, and I'm able to grow just because how I watch you." And those messages I receive randomly, of course, they make me cry. But then at the same time, there's still those two, right? Because it's 2011 since my release, and we're now 2023, right? So regardless of the great things I've done, or no matter who I've met, president or where I've done, my kids are aware of this in San Antonio. And they still say, "You're nothing but a stranger." And that's that I made an effort to go see them every year. I faithfully have gone every year to go visit them, talk with them. I asked every year, 6 months, "Please, can I have my kids? Please, can I raise my kids? Please, can I?" And it was just no. It's always been a no. But you know what? Counseling prepared me for that. Before I got out, I had a really great counselor named Nancy Knezovich, I believe was her name. She told me, "Veronica, you have 5 children in 3 different places. You've made a lot of mistakes, but yes, you're right, you're not your mistakes. However, be prepared. I want you to be prepared when you leave this place and understand that some of these children might welcome you with arms wide open. Some of these children, it might take time for you to gain their trust. And some may not want anything to do with you. But that does not mean, like, don't remember, you are not your past, you are not your mistakes. Don't let that lead you back to where you were because you're hurt. Find a way, whatever it is for you, Veronica, to deal with that hurt, right? And even as a 42-year-old woman, I still cry like a baby in the shower because I miss my kids. I miss them. I can see their growth by their aunt, and I can message them and say, "I'm so proud of you and who you are today and what you're doing." And they'll open it, but there won't be much of a response. However, I don't give up hope. I feel that as they grow and they become parents themselves or make mistakes, that they'll understand, hey, maybe my mom really did love me. She was just going through something, So that's really what I'm hoping for. But I'm thankful for the 3 that I have. I'm hoping and praying. Barb knows we've been praying about it in women's group, and there is power in prayer. I mean, it was 2002 when I first reached out to God asking him to help me because I was tired of doing drugs. And it may have taken, maybe it didn't happen in 10 days, maybe it took a long amount of time, but here I am today before you sharing my story. So there is power in prayer, and there's power in, once a person, I've just realized that the mind is very powerful. So that's why I wanted to share a poem with you from when I first got incarcerated to a year after, how much my mind changed. When I started to put good things in here in my mind, and I've noticed that with a lot of people that are suffering today, because it doesn't matter where I'm at, it doesn't matter if I'm at work or if I'm just randomly somewhere and I see a family member or a friend. It's like I have this, I know it's a gift, because people will randomly tell me how they're feeling and what they're going through, right? And I'm the person who says, can I pray for you? Do you believe in prayer? Are you okay? Can I pray with you? Because that's just what I do. I want to install the hope in them that things will be better. Because when we stay stuck on a mind that I'm going through this and nothing's going to get better, I mean, it can really corrupt our thinking. And I think a lot of the time this is what a lot of our people are going through. They don't realize how powerful the mind is. And it begins as soon as you wake up in the day. Like, as soon as you wake up. Like, what kind of thoughts are we waking up with? Are we waking up with, oh my gosh, I got to go to work? Because, I mean, I'll do that too, right, for a minute. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. I'm thankful I'm awake, I'm alive. I got my children, thank God for my children, my grandchildren, my job, my home. I then start to go into gratitude, and it's going on while I'm brushing my teeth, and it's going on and then I put a podcast on, which is motivating my mind to have a great day and that's what I'm doing. I mean, even with music, being mindful of what I'm listening to, because everything that I'm putting in is what's coming out. And so that's the kind of things that I work on, not only with my fellow co-workers, with my children. Just be mindful of what we're putting in, because that's what comes out. So a lot of people that we're dealing with or working with, like, that's, I feel like, is the most important. And so with my children, even though they don't talk to me, I trust that one day they will forgive me for what I have done and for the hurt that I've caused them. But it definitely is a challenge, and it's different for everybody. But I feel like just care, love, and hope is what can help others.
Well, I really resonate with your story.
Oh.
I really appreciate you coming out here and, sharing it with others. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Your journey that you went through, and that you're able to come and speak about that. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
I mean, it's like, I'm like, have you ever, gone back into prison and talked with those inmates?
That's actually a work in progress. Like, I'm so hungry to go out there and give back. Like, that's just my thing, because I want people to know, because I got incarcerated in 2005 for a few months, and I was like, oh yeah, I got this. I thought I had it all together, and yeah, I could stay sober, and I relapsed. Boom. And that's why I say then I went on the run for 3 years, doing drugs, popping pills, and just thinking I had it all together and I could do it. And I was such a mess, you guys. I was just like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just tired. How do I get out of this? Like, how do I stop doing this? And so now where I'm at and how I've gotten there, it's like I have a bag full of tools. And I'm like wanting to knock on doors. Like, here, I can show you how to build this. Okay, I can show you how to do this, but are you willing to take this bag and build it with me? Like, that's how hungry I am, to go into here in Tri-County, to go to Shakopee Prison, anywhere that anybody is willing to take me, to say, like, you can do it. You are not your past. Like, it may say felony, convicted felon, methamphetamine within a school zone. It may say cocaine, but that's not, you don't have to be that person. You don't have to be known that way. My daughter one day came up to me, she's like, Mom, I looked your name up on Google, and look at what it says. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and it was already like 6 years later, but she's like, Mom, and I'm like, I'm sorry, babe, that's embarrassing, but do you see me that way? And she was like, no, and I'm like, okay, then let's not, but But if you look at that now, if you try to look Veronica up in Fonte then, it doesn't even come up anymore, you know? So that's why I'm saying we don't have to be labeled as that. We can change. And that's what I want to let people know is you can change. Like if I did all these bad things, I abandoned my kids and ran the streets for 6 months high off methamphetamine. You know, I left my 5-month-old at my mom's door because a friend told me, don't hold your baby, you're going to sweat out that meth and it's going to hurt your child. And so it spooked me, it scared me. So I go to my mom's house and I like knock on the door and she's like, what are you up to now? And you know, and she goes to the bathroom and boop, I'm gone. 6 months. Nobody knew where I was. Walking around with a backpack, staying at this lady's house and that guy's house, whoever wanted to get high with the guy I was seeing at the time. Like, when I tell that story, people are like, I cannot believe that was you, Veronica. Like, that's what you did. I was like, yeah, I had a really bad attitude. I was so hurt. So when people would even just look at me, I'd be like, what? What are you looking at? You know, you got a problem? But in counseling, here we go, I'm putting in good things. She says, what if they were admiring your hair? What if they liked the t-shirt you had on? What if they just liked your smile? And right away, but it's because of the thinking that I had. You know, everybody was up against me. That's just the way that I thought. But truly, it's not. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. No, thank you.